and gentlemen, a warm welcome on our first show of race previews, where we're going to go through the race card for this race meeting 2, which will be held on Saturday 25th of March 2023. And by my side, our racing consultant from South Africa, Devon Habib, who is here to help you as usual. Hi Devon.
Hi Ria, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. And what about you?
Yeah, very good. Just to let the public know that this is actually our first meeting. It's quite the second meeting, but our first meeting was cancelled. So
due to the bad weather.
Yeah, and waterlogged track. So yeah, it's nice to get the season going. Very excited for the new year ahead of us. And yeah, I think with People's Turf Place being the sole operators at the moment, it's going to be quite an interesting season.
We're going to have a nice racing season.
I'm very excited for the year ahead, 100%.
So let's not waste any more time. We'll start with race 1, 7 runners, which will be run on 1400 meters, benchmark 0:15. Number 1, Chestnut Cove. Number 2, Kraken. Number 3, Bell's Apostle. Number 4, the Gypsy King. Number 5, Kali's Champ. Number 6, Bypass. And number 7, Special Force. I'm going to ask you, Devon, your picks for this race.
Yeah, look, Ria, it looks like a very open race. I was studying this race quite hard, and I came up with number 6, Bypass. I think he's very well weighted in this race. I think he's got a massive chance, and I fancy him to probably win this race and to win it quite well, in my opinion. I really liked him as I was last season, and I think this break is going to do him a world of good. And I'm really big on this horse.
And Bypass, who won his Boyer trial on Tuesday.
Yeah, look, he's working really well, and he's got the claim 1.5 on, so he's going to go in with a very light weight of 52.5, and he's a decent price. I mean, he's like 7.5 to 1, 8 to 1, so yeah, I fancy him quite strong.
And for the placings?
Look, another horse that I followed quite strongly last year was Chestnut Cove. Very decent horse, nice looking horse. They rate this horse quite highly.
The first runner for Yashin Imamji's yard.
Yes, it's a nice achievement for him, and welcome to the racing world, and I wish him all the best in his career. So yeah, it will be nice. I mean, Jameer's a very good rider, and I think he'll suit this horse, and it's gonna be between the two of them, in my honest opinion. He's working on the inside with Perfect Pursuit on the outside.
Yeah. He worked quite well, as we see.
Yeah, and he's looking really well. I mean, his final 200 meters was very impressive. So I think he's one that we have to keep our eyes on this season, and I'd be quite surprised if he doesn't break the maiden very soon.
And you mentioned number 3, Bell's Apostle from Shirish Narang stable, number 2 in the stalls, and Akasha Ocharas on board.
Yeah, he's got a really good draw. Probably out of the 2 horses that I've selected, he's got the best draw.
Do you think he'll be able to lead?
Yeah, I mean, with a good draw, I think he's got he'll have a soft lead. Look, the Gypsy King also likes to run from the front as well with Special Blend, but I personally feel that the Bell's Apostle will definitely get there, and yeah, he's a big runner. He's probably the fittest horse. If you want to go on weights,
yes,
that
very well this horse at training. Bell's Apostle.
He's lost 17 kilos since his Christmas holiday, and
exactly, yeah, 17
his dinners and all that,
yeah.
His little holiday season that he had. So I would definitely fancy him just on the way that he's working. All 3 of these horses have lost quite a bit of weight. So yeah, I mean, he's a nice size horse. Bell's Apostle, 508 kilos. It's quite big.
And to complete the quartet, you mentioned number 2, Kraken, with Yanish Taka on board.
Yeah, Kraken.
Can he run a cracker here?
Look, I'm a bit hesitant of this horse. I'm not really a fan of his form. I don't really like the way he's been running. His last run, when they fitted the blinkers for the first time, that was impressive. That's more a type of horse that can.
Keeping the blinkers on and Alimat shoes.
That's the reason why I've tipped him to run 4th. So I do think he's got a chance if he produces the same run that he produced with the blinkers on. If the
Exactly.
blinkers made the
I
difference.
think if there'll be pace in the race, then Kraken is the horse to watch for the win.
Is that
Watch out.
your first selection?
Yes, I like Kraken in this one.
Okay, that's well. I mean, we all have different opinions, and I think
Exactly.
it's nice to have a variety of selections
Yeah.
to give the punters the
Mhm.
best advice going forward.
So number 6 bypass for the win, and for the placings number 1 Chestnut Cove, number 3 Best Apostle, and number 2 Kraken. Moving on to race 2, the Gurudot Mohe, the Père du Quadricolo Memorial Cup, which will be run over 1400 meters, 0:20 benchmark. Number 1 Celestial Magma, number 2 Most of Our Survey, number 3 African Rock, number 4 After the Order, number 5 Into the Mystic, number 6 Chief Rafif, and number 7 Supreme Elevation. So Devon, you like Chief Rafif in this race for the win?
Yes, I think he's a really nice horse, and I think the extra 410 meters is going to be a massive difference
Yeah.
to this horse. So, he's
This
got a,
horse he placed in all 3 outings here.
and his last run behind Rain Must Fall, which I make probably one of my best bets coming up in the card. 4 lengths or 5 lengths behind Rain Must Fall.
Mhm.
It's a massive run. I mean, yes, he's a maiden taking on winners.
Yeah.
Yes, he's carrying 59 kilos, and the others are carrying also 59, 60. You know, but I think he's going to be a very progressive horse. I'm quite strong on this horse. I think he's a really good-looking horse.
You think he needed distance to perform much better?
I think you're going to see the best out of him when he goes even further. You know, so
I feel same, yeah.
I'm quite strong on him. I
Mhm.
think Bernard's a very strong rider, so I think he's going to suit this horse quite strongly. And look, he's in with the chance with the betting. He's 4-1, so he's
Quite
not
a
out
good
of
bet.
it. He's a
Mhm.
decent price, and it's a very open field. So yeah, I'm gonna cross over to Celestial Magma. I mean, he's working extremely well, as we can see on the way he's working. Yeah, he's on the inside with the red cap.
Yeah.
He's working with a nice horse called Freedom of Speech. I mean, look, their times aren't really fast, but it's nice to get that stamina work in, you know. I mean, these aren't 1,000-meter horses. These are.
And Celestial Magma, don't you think it's going to be a bit sharp for him at the 1400 meters?
Yeah, look, but it's the start of the season, and I mean, these horses have had a 3-month break. You don't want to just push them up into 1800. So, I mean, he's going to run a
And he's
good
got
race.
the first draw as well.
He's got draw 1. He's got claim 2.5 on a good rider Tucker. So, yeah, I mean, I would be stupid not to mention him into the first 3.
And then you like this number 2, Most of Our Survey from Kusraj Ramanasya, the horse who won his 2 wins on 1500 meters, now staying on 1400 meters.
Yeah, look, Most of All Our Survey, very nice horse as well. His last run was a little bit disappointing, but I feel like he had a very difficult season. So I think he can bounce back.
Yeah, he's got a good chance.
And he's got a massive chance with a good draw. He's got a nice weight on his back. So
And he's going to get a claim of 1.5 kg.
100%. And I mean, he's running behind Caputa, and he beat Caputa. So Caputa's a nice horse. Also fancy him going forward throughout the day. And yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he pops up and wins. But I think it's going to be hard to beat Chief Rafif.
And finally, number 3, which is outside of this race, African Rock with Derek David on board. Well, quite a deception last year. What makes you like this horse?
Look,
Devon?
he's a changed horse. He's a completely different horse, and I don't know, it just the way he's been working, he's completely different. He's looking well. So I think I'd be stupid not to give him a chance. I don't want to make him a good thing. And I think he's gonna surprise, maybe run into the back end of Quartet. I also want to make a mention to a horse called After the Order. You know,
Yes.
I mean, that would be quite stupid of me not to say anything because, as you are wearing the Peaky Blinders cap, and by the order of the Peaky Blinders, you're gonna tip After the Order to maybe run into the back end of Quartet as well.
This horse runs quite well when fresh.
Yeah, he does. He does run well when he runs fresh, and I think he's got a chance. It's a very
Good
difficult race.
Jamia.
I mean, once again, we've got really good riders this season. I mean, we've got Stephen O'Donoghue, Tucker, Al saying Bernard Feder,
To
Derek
mention, we
David.
got two club jockeys this season, Bernard Habib and
Very,
Stefan
very
Henry,
strong
yeah.
book of jockeys, and I think it's
Mhm.
going to be very competitive. It's going to be very good racing. Very excited for the season ahead of us.
So Devon, your selections for this second race is number 6, Chief Rafif, and number 2, Most of Our Survey, number 1, Celestial Magma, and number 3, African Rock. Moving on to race 3, the Philippe Gentil, composer of National Anthem Memorial Cup with 5 runners. Number 1, El Patron, number 2, On a High Note, number 3, Captain's Fault, number 4, Rain Must Fall, number 5, Carolina Reaper, and the race will be run on a sprint of 990 meters on benchmark 31. Devon, I see you like Rain Must Fall in this race.
Yeah, look, it's a very small field, and if you're going on quality of form, quality of horse and form, I think it's between the two horses. I think it's Rain Must Fall and Al Patron, but in my honest opinion, I make it a really good thing. Rain Must Fall.
Can he try a pillar to post in this race?
Most definitely. I'm a bit confused as into the jockey selection. Maybe he didn't have a choice, but I would have stuck with Rain Must Fall. So, I mean, that's one thing that we also got to look at, why Tucker chose to ride Al Patron.
Exactly, yeah.
But I really think Rain Must Fall is a really nice horse.
Mhm.
He won a really good race last time. And, yeah, with the blinkers
He's
on.
going up in class though,
Yes, as he's
from
going
20
up
to
in class, but
31.
to win by 5 lengths with time of 55.
Yeah.
73. I mean, Al Patron's winning time was 56, 13, 56, 60, I mean, 19, 56, 68. So it's like very, like a second almost. A second in racing is a massive difference. I make this was my best bet on the card, Rain Must Fall.
To be
Definitely.
noted, the best bet of Devon is in this third race, number 4, Rain Must Fall, followed by number 1, El Patron, a horse that you fancy as well.
I just think if this horse bounces back to his form, his previous form, then he's got a chance. I mean, his penultimate start was good, but his recent
The form is not like before.
it's not the same as what he was doing earlier.
Yeah. And then number 5, Carolina Reaper with Nivan Modi on board, 5th draw.
I'm the type of person that likes to go on the way a horse looks, and this horse really looks good. So I'm gonna ignore his form completely. I'm gonna draw a line through it, and I'm just gonna tip
Put it for
on
the
just the way the
placings.
horse is working and the way the horse looks. He has to have a chance. I don't think we need to give the punters more than 3 horses in this race, because then we
Yeah.
basically gave them the whole card.
And I see you mentioned number 3, Captain's Fault as well.
Yeah, I look for the back end of quartets, but
Yeah.
there's only 5 horses in the race, so I think
So we are going to go with the number 4, 1, and 5. That's
100%.
it. Okay. Let's move on now to race 4, the 31st anniversary of the Republic of Mauritius Cup race, which will be run on 1365 meters, benchmark 0 to 25. With 7 runners, number 1, Gigin, number 2, Neville Mu, number 3, Flowerscape, number 4, Capkuta, number 5, Light of My Life, and number 6, Quest for Good, and number 7, Duke of Abercorn. So here in this race, Devon, you like Capkuta winner last time out.
Yeah, Kapkutsa is definitely my first selection. I feel like since the blinkers have been fitted on this horse, he's a total different horse. And I think this is going to be Derek's first winner back.
Yes.
He's working extremely well as we can cross over to the working, and you can see his time is really good.
Looks like a winning ride as well.
Yeah, he's working really well, and it's nice to see Derek back after a long layoff. It's not nice to get injured, so
The
when
time
you
factor is very impressive as well.
100%. Tying back to what I was saying with Derek, he was injured for quite a while, and
Yeah.
it's nice to see him making a comeback. And
Exactly, yeah.
I hope he has a good season as well.
Wish
As
him
he,
all the best
yeah, we
for
wish
this
him all the
season.
best. He is my cousin, so I mean a little bit biased there, but I'm not going based on family. Yeah, I think it is the horse to beat. He's in a good space, and he's got a decent draw. The horses are looking well from the Zaki stable, so I'm gonna tip him to win.
And as main danger, I see you put the number 1 Gigin with Yanish Taka on board, claim of 2.5 kg.
Purely on the draw and the
Yeah.
weight, the claim being taken off, I personally feel like
And he's really down in class from B36 to 0.25.
yeah, he's dropped he's dropped 2 divisions almost. And what I like a lot about it is I feel like Tucker's worth more than is worth that 2.5 claim. I think he's a really good rider, and I think the advantage of this 2.5 claim is massive for him. It does add big difference to the way the horses will run with him, and I'm a big fan of this horse Giggins. I think it's going to run quite well today, so this is my biggest danger to Kaputa. And for third, I mean, there's too much talk on the race course for
Duke
me
of
not to mention it.
Number 7, Duke of Abercorn from Yannick Pedro's stable.
Is Giggins.
So let's see Giggin working out at track work
Yeah, I
on
mean,
Tuesday.
he's on the inside and he's working extremely well. So yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he runs a big race as well. The horse we were speaking about was Duke of Abercorn. He's a really nice horse as well. I mean, he's working quite well, and this is him working out as well. He's got really good form. His last run was very decent behind a horse called Benny the Jew.
And I think the break was quite beneficial for this horse.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I think he needed it.
Here we are looking at
to
his
grow.
work on Tuesday.
Yeah, that was really good work. I mean, the times are quite decent as well, and his 200 to finish was impressive.
We need to watch out for this number 7.
Most definitely.
And finally, you put number 5, Light of My Life from Nagadu's stable, draw number 2 in the stalls.
Yeah, I think he's got a chance for the back
I
end of
think the
the
circumstances of the race.
I think maybe with the quality of the field, he's got a chance. Just it's been so long since his last win, and I'm not really a fan of horses that take long to win. Obviously, they're knocking on the door, but yeah, I think he's gonna have to do more to prove to me that he's for my first selections, even though he's favourite in this race.
So
blows
let
my
me
mind a little
remind
bit.
our viewers, your picks for this 4th race is number 4, Kaputa for the win, and number 1, Gigin, number 7, Duke of Abercorn, and number 5, Light of My Life for the placings. Now we are going to watch the card for this 5 race with 6 runners. Number 1, Pop Icon, number 2, Creation, number 3, Massimo, which is the favorite in this race, and number 4, Puget Sound, number 5, Crazy Charlie, number 6, Sid's Liaison. The race will be run over the distance of 1400 meters, benchmark 41. So Devon, Massimo, another best bet of the day, who can run a pillar to post here.
100%.
I think the best chance of Yanish Taka.
I'm actually going to take my hat off to the ride that Tucker gave this horse when he won on him.
Yeah.
His penultimate start, and the ride last time
He
was
won
also
2
a
times
really
with
good
this
ride.
horse.
I think this horse is what many people say when you build a bond with the horse, and Tucker's really developed a bond. If I had to ask him, I'm telling you, he'll tell me this is his favorite horse, because the bond that Stokes created with this horse is unbelievable, and he's really got on well with him. So I'm tipping this to win, and I'm tipping it to win quite well. I think he's a nice horse, got a good draw. I'm a big fan of him. I think that will definitely win. Obviously, his danger is going to come from Pop Icon, which is working extremely well. He looks mad, like unbelievable. He really looks good.
So
and
we're going to look at the work of Pop Icon on Tuesday here.
He's really, really working well. He's just changed, and I think
He'll have Jamia Aliutsen on board.
yeah, I'm one of
61.5
the
kg.
stable jockeys for the Zaki stable. So
Yeah.
I mean, surely he's got to have a massive chance.
This
think
horse
it's between the
looks very
two of
well.
them. Definitely between 1 and 3, in my opinion.
And number 5, Crazy Charlie.
Yeah, look, Crazy Charlie, it's very good form as well. A nice horse, got a decent draw of 3. He's got a chance. I think he's got to be in the first 3, in my opinion. I think it doesn't go much further than that. After that,
I think if there's a hot pace in this race, Crazy Charlie can come
Most-
from the back.
most
Yeah.
definitely, most definitely.
And finally, number 2, Creation, to complete your quartet.
I just feel like out of the last 3 horses that are left that we haven't spoken about, it's between Creation and Sid Liaison. I just think Creation is a nice horse, and I wouldn't lose too much faith in him because I know this horse from South Africa quite well, and I feel like he'll be a nice horse, but he just has to bounce back to that form that he was used to.
So number 3, Massimo for the win, and for the placings, number 1, Pop Icon, number 5, Crazy Charlie, and number 2, Creation. Let's move now to the 6th race, which will be run over the distance of 1,365 meters, benchmark 56. This is going to be the main race of the day, the People's Turf PLC Kickoff Meeting 2023 Cup. Number 1, Arizona Silk, number 2, Tower of Wisdom, number 3, Dynamite Jack, number 4, Edged in Blue, number 5, Juniper Lane, and number 6, Royal Italian. So I see, Devon, here you mentioned Royal Italian outsider as your main win here.
A lot of people are going to be thinking, sure.
Are going to be surprised.
They're going to be very surprised when they see that I'm selecting this as my first selection. I just feel like there might be a lot of pace in this race, and if they get tied up in front, they're going to run on from behind. And the 2 horses, in my opinion, that will be running on is Royal Italian and Edged in Blue. And I feel like...
So you don't think the distance is going to be an issue, even if there's a hot pace?
Look, if there's a hot pace, it's going to suit Royal Italian completely down his alley. And the sting out of the ground will also suit him. It does add a bit to the distance. So I feel with the 5-meter false rail that we've got, or 4.75 meter false rail, it's going to make a big difference. I mean, it's also a little bit further. So, I mean... they have to go quite wide, and I wouldn't be surprised if Royal Italian
wins this race.
I really wouldn't. I mean,
and this is going to bring...
13.65, yes,
yeah.
it's short for him, but I got a feeling he's going to run on quite nicely.
Followed by number 4, Edged in Blue, from Yannick Pedro's stable. Seram Sami on board.
Look, I mean, Edged in Blue beats a strong field that day when he beat them.
Yes.
There was really nice horses in that race, and I was a bit surprised when he won. I mean, he won at quite big odds, so he has got the ability. And then he ran a nice race again to Emerald Band, which is for me one of the top horses in Mauritius.
He completed the quartet then.
And yeah, I would be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if he runs into the top 3 or top 2.
And number 2, Tower of Wisdom.
Yeah, look, Tower of Wisdom. I mean, when he ran to Special Blend, it was also a really good run. Yes, it might be a touch too short for him, but he's run really good races over the distances. So I wouldn't be surprised if he runs a good race.
This horse, Tower of Wisdom, is in a great form from Samaraj Mahadia's stable, actually.
And he's dropping 1 division again,
yeah.
So he's going back to more competitive race, yeah, for him. And look, he beat Dutch Alley. He ran 3rd to Special Blend. He ran 4th to Sea Dance. I think this is decent form. I mean, these are nice horses. Where if you go back a little bit further, he's running behind Walls of Dubrovnik, Norbesi.
Exactly, yeah.
There's no Walls of Dubrovnik or Norbesi in this race.
Good
And I think,
line, and also
I
quite
think he's massive runner.
Yeah. And finally, number 5, Juniper Lane, which is the favorite of this race, but you put him in the placings.
Yeah, look, I mean, I've taken a bold move here, and I've tipped
exactly.
3
but
outsiders.
It looks like Juniper Lane is going to be the only front runner in this race, especially with this claim, first row and all.
Look, most people are going to tip him to win. Most people are going to say
even I would have tipped him to win.
This is the right horse in the race. And look, it's nice to say yes, you'll win, but when these this is the type of race where an outsider can come up, and I feel like it's very open. In my opinion, he'll either win by 3 lengths or he'll run at the back end of the quartet. So I'm going to tip him to run 4th. I'm sticking my neck out here a bit. That's a brave move from me, but yeah, I'm going to stick to my stations and go for that.
So number 6, Royal Italian for the win and for the placings, and number 4, Edged in Blue, number 2, Tower of Wisdom, and number 5, Juniper Lane. Number Now moving on to race 7, the Dr. George Prosper, lyricist of National Anthem Cup, over the distance of 1365 meters, benchmark 36 with 5 runners only. Number 1, Desert Boy, number 2, Jackalak, number 3, Desert Illusion, number 4, Liverpool Champ, and number 5, Oxford Blue. So Devon, here you like Desert Boy in this race.
Yeah, I think this is a really decent horse. I mean, that time where he ran his last run to Ticket to Cairo was a massive run. And yes, it was a little bit, he might have got tired towards the end. But Ticket to Cairo proved that he's a decent horse when he beat Illicit Kiss and that strong field that he beat them. So he was knocking on the door and he won 2 in a row.
Even now, this horse is working very nice.
He's working extremely well, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him winning.
Looks like a banker in this 7th race.
Most definitely. There's obviously some dangers in the race, but I think he's a massive runner, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him win quite well.
Main danger is number 5, Oxford Blue, with Derek David on board, 55.5 kgs, and number 2 in the stalls.
Yeah, look, he's got a decent draw, and Derek's riding him.
Dropping in distance.
He's dropping in distance, and he was very unlucky where he ran second the last time. He just bumped Duodé on the best day that Duodé had him in. So I think he's a massive runner. I wouldn't be surprised to see him win, but it's going to be hard to beat Desert Boy. I mean, it's 10 points in the race and up, so he obviously has a lighter weight, but he's in a division that's a bit higher than his mark at the moment. So it is a big step for him, a big ask for him, but he's a nice horse and he's looking really well. So I'm not going to be too surprised if he wins or runs in the top 2.
And followed by number 2, Jackalak, with Bernard Federer on board. A horse like these two, they know each other. The jockey knows the horse very well. He even won with him twice last season.
Yeah, and I mean, I really liked this horse, Jackalak, last season, and I still like him. I think he's a really decent horse.
It's going down in class.
It's a very tough race if you put in the 3 horses.
Looks like an open race, even in a small field.
So, I mean, just be careful when you guys play here, but in my opinion, I think they'll run in that order, 1, 5, 3. I mean, 1, 5, 2.
And I'd ask you, what do you think about the number 3, Desert Illusion?
Yeah, look, I mean, Desert Illusion, if he bounces back to his early form, and yes, it's going to be hard to beat. But he's a bit like his last 2 runs have been very disappointing. So I'd like to see him come back to himself. But I'm going to give him another chance with draw 1, and Rama is a strong rider as well.
Yeah, indeed. So your selections for this 7th race is number 1, Desert Boy for the win, number 5, Oxford Blue, number 2, Jackalak, and number 3, Desert Illusion for the placings.
Yeah, and we're not going to mention Liverpool Champ because he's not number 7.
Personally, for me, Liverpool Champ needs more distance to perform well.
Yeah, and he's not number 7. If he was number 7, I'd make him. He's running in race 7, so I think we can play on those words as well.
But then you'll be giving all these horses as your picks. Moving on to the 8th and last race of this second meeting with 7 runners, 1400 meters, benchmark 31. Number 1, One Day OD1. Number 2, Eagles Vision. Number 3, Volatile Energy. Number 4, General Jackson. Number 5, Benev. Number 6, Tiger's Rock. And number 7, Instinctive Power. So your selections for this 8th race for the win, number 1, One Day OD1.
Yeah, look, he's the warm water favorite, and he's like even money favorite. So
favorite in this race.
I would be surprised if he gets beat. I mean, his form's really strong. I'm not a fan of the horse's second run in Mauritius, so I'm drawing a line completely through his second run.
Of course, he already won
in my
twice.
honest opinion, I think he's a really, really good horse, and I'd be very surprised if he gets beat.
Do you fear the 62 kgs from Bernard Federer?
I don't. I think, I mean, Bernard's is a strong jockey, and it's not going to be too much dead weight. So,
you think there'll be a strong pace in this race?
I don't know about being a strong pace. Obviously, there's a lot of front runners. So I think with the good draws, the horses are going to try slot
He's going
themselves
to be
in.
there.
So it's going to be difficult because, I mean, Volatile Energy and Day One are both drawn well. And then you've got the other two horses that like to go to the front as well, which Eagle's Vision and Instinctive Power drawn bad. So it is going to be a jumble for pace. But I think it's going to be One Day or Day One quite easily, in my opinion.
And for the placings, you mentioned number 7, Instinctive Power, a horse which has been infiltrated, 7th draw, Direct David on board.
Yeah, and we're talking about 7-7, and he's drawn 7, and he's number 7. It's just in the wrong race. It's in race 8. So he's got really strong
is this
form.
a superstitious thing?
It could be. It could be. I think he's a nice horse. He's got really good form. He's working extremely well, as we can see on the way he's been working. His time was extremely good, and I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he's a nice horse.
That's indeed a very good
I think
time.
he's going to be a nice horse for the season, and I wouldn't be surprised to see
The
him.
last race seems to be a quite open race.
Normally they are the most difficult races. So,
Yeah.
I mean, Eagle's Vision, he's a nice horse. I
You're
haven't
not talking
mentioned him.
about Eagle's Vision today.
Yeah, it's always
Favorite
been a
one.
joke between you and me where you say I've got Eagle's Vision.
Yeah.
But I'm not giving him a chance today. I'm tipping Tiger's Rock to run 3rd and a little bit of General Jackson to run 4th. I think General Jackson's also lost a lot of weight, so he's in a good space. He's down
Maybe his
16
second
kilos.
one here.
Second run, yeah,
Mauritius,
but
yeah.
it's first run after the break, so you don't really take that into account after.
Mhm.
And he's running behind Tika Tukara. I think Tika Tukara is a nice horse, and I think he's a nice horse. On looks, I wouldn't be surprised to see him run in there. I mean, I want to know why he ran so bad, but I mean,
But that was
O'Donoghue,
his first outing here. So.
Stephen Donohue's taken the ride,
Yes.
so I mean, being club jockey, we got to speak about that.
Normally he gets nervous in the paddock before the race. I hope it's not the case this time.
Yeah, I think maybe he just needed to settle in. It was his first run, yeah. They normally get scared. And I mean, Jackson plays a really soft spot in the Mauritians' heart. I mean, it was a very good horse for Carice Teton. I mean, it made him famous.
Exactly.
So I think we got to play on that. I mean, Jackson's a nice stallion, and I think it's a nice little omen for me. I think there's 2 superstitions.
So we
Yeah,
can include him in our
most
pod.
definitely.
So number 1, One Day or Day One for the win. Number 7, Instinctive Power. Number 6, Tiger's Rock. And number 4, General Jackson for the placings. I'm going to ask you about your best bet of the day, Devon.
Yeah, look, my best bet came in race 3, which was Rain Must 4. And I also liked a little bit of Massimo as my banker in race 5, number 3. I think those 2 are probably the best bets. It's a nice little double that the punters can take. I think they can't go wrong with that. And then
Your outsider of the day.
a nice job. Value bet outsider comes up in race 1 early in the day. Get the kitty flowing. A horse called Bypass, number 6. I think he's got
Quite
really good
Really good
form,
odds, yeah.
and I think he's got a massive chance. And then there was another horse that was quite a big price, which was Roll Italian. I
Yeah.
think a nice
The main
exactor there would be 6 and 4 as well to play around with those 2 horses. I wouldn't be surprised if they run big races as well.
So I also like Rain Must Fall in race 3 as best bet of the day.
Oh, and your value bet for the day?
My value bet of the day would be, let me tell you, I like Pop Icon in race 5.
So you're going against my best bets. I think nice
Exactly.
exactors, you can go there. 3-1.
We'll talk about it next Friday.
That's perfect.
So, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the end of our show. Thank you, Devon, for your help and analysis on this show.
It's only a pleasure, and it's nice to have you do the show with us, and wish all the best for the season ahead. I wish all the punters a prosperous year going forward, and to the Muslim friends of mine and public out there, happy Eid
Ramadan.
and Ramadan. I hope they have a massive year ahead of them, and come enjoy racing for the people.
Thank you, Devon. And thank you to our production team and especially to our viewers for watching the show. Have a nice racing day tomorrow. Till then, see you. Take care. Bye bye.